Commentary. Today we have another slam banger for you. We have Marc Hill with us today, back with our finance series that we've been doing for the last few weeks or so. And he has a good one today. He's going to discuss these stock charts and look at some of the particular trends of a few ETF funds and other stocks that he's been following. And I want to just make a disclaimer here that Marc is not a financial advisor. This is just some things that he's doing. And you have to do your own due diligence and make the right decision as to what's good for you and your family. But I can tell you one thing: you should get into the space with the stocks and any type of investments. And if you check my link in the description, I will have something down there that you can take a look at. You can give me a call. I also have my email address there. You can email me, direct message me, and we can discuss these some of these particular this particular investment that I'm doing, and it's been working well for me and for thousands of others for the last 3 or 4 years. Hello, Marc. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on the show again.
Yeah, it's great, Marc. I know that you had a few things that you wanted to discuss to continue with our series of giving people some information concerning investment opportunities and what they should look for in this particular market. We are in we're past the midterms, and we're now gearing up for a presidential election that's going to come. And what do you see happening over the next 9 to 10 months?
Well, there's a lot of exciting developments going on within the financial markets over the past few months. Um, I think we talked 2 or 3 weeks ago. We did a show, and I think that was the middle of they were having a bank crisis going on. Some banks uh, went under, so to speak, and but it looks like 2 weeks later that banking crisis is pretty much under control. Uh, the Federal Reserve, the FDIC, and other banks such as J.P. Morgan, they pitched in some money to rescue other banks, and a little consolidation has happened to where that crisis seems to have um, been resolved somewhat, and it's on to better days in the stock market. Like I said before, 2022 was a very bad year, a down year for the markets because of the Russian war and the midterm election issue, which is historically a bad year. But now, as we're going into this 2023, we're fully into 2023. The sun is rising on the market, so to speak. We're coming out of this stock market winter, the doldrums that we were in. And one good thing that kind of came out of that banking issue was that it made the Federal Reserve want to pause, slow down a little bit on raising interest rates higher. They still raised them, but instead of raising it by 50 basis points, they only raised it by 25. And it looks like the market, they don't want to crash the market going into a presidential election in 2024. Also, another thing that happened that's good news for stocks is that inflation seems to have subsided, is more subdued month over month, and particularly this year compared to last year this time. I'll pull up a chart to show the most recent inflation numbers. Last Friday, inflation number came out to 6%, which last year, if you see on the screen, it was 9%. It's still high. You want to see inflation around like it was normally in 2019, 1.5, 2%, 3% inflation. But because of all the stimulus and the shortage of goods and services over 2020 through 2022, inflation spiked to 9%. So not to bore anybody too much with that, inflation is going down, and that's good for the economy. That's good for the stock market. The stock market always goes up over time, but there are cycles within 1 to 4 years. There's up cycles and down cycles. And with inflation going down like this, the market, the big institutions, they're already reacting. They're already anticipating better days ahead for the market. And what does that mean? Stocks have bottomed out. You look at the macro events, what's happening out there in the streets, then you look at these charts that can kind of give you an idea. Nothing's guaranteed, but it gives you an idea of what direction the market is going in now. And as you look at this S&P 500 chart here, a monthly chart, you can see that the market has pretty much bottomed out around last September, October, and it's been slowly inching higher and higher. You can see here, even the fifth grade, these charts are easy to read. I know it might look confusing to a new person, but right there, you can see right here, the curve is flattening out and is ready to go higher, just like it did over here in 2020. It flattened out and went higher. That's the S&P 500. Now you can look at tech stocks like Apple. Apple is pretty much like a mutual fund within itself. Apple is an unstoppable, one of the most valuable companies in the world. It's basically like it's like a fund within itself. Apple can give you a good idea in what direction the stock market is going in. As you can see, let me just explain what Apple really is. It's not just a cell phone company or computer company. Apple is one of those rare companies. It's still a growing tech company, one. It's a consumer staple company like a Coca-Cola, to where people have to use it every day, just like they drink beverages from Coke every day, water or juice, whatever. And there's also a luxury goods brand, kind of like Louis Vuitton or Rolex. I can't name any company that has those three aspects in it. So it's almost like three industries within one. Because a lot of people buy. I know there was a controversy about Apple maybe 10 years ago. How can they keep growing? Because they don't have a new product. They just keep coming out with the same phone every day. But it doesn't matter every year that the phone isn't that different. They'll do a little subtle things, put an extra camera here and there, change the colors to let everyone know that it's the new model version. So people rush to buy it because it's a status symbol to show you have the newest phone. And then they're addicted to everyone's life is wrapped in that phone. Their banking, the finances, the social networking, passwords. People run their whole lives within that phone. You take someone's phone away for 30 minutes and they'll have a fit, a mental meltdown. So it's a fourth industry. It's almost like a alcoholic alcohol beverage company because it's an addictive product also. It's like a casino company. But anyway, you can see here Apple is on a trajectory, has bottomed out. Didn't really even have a crash during the 2022 uh, economic slowdown and the war situation. It just kind of flattened out, and you can see it's on an upward trajectory to go higher. Then you have Microsoft. Microsoft. The reason I'm pointing out these two companies because Microsoft and Apple are pretty much the whole stock, a big percentage of the stock market. So goes Microsoft and Apple. So goes pretty much the whole S&P 500. You can see Microsoft is turning upwards and is bottomed out. And as we all know, almost every company, they can't even run their business without Windows. So it's all almost like a consumer staple soap company. And then with this chat GPT, this AI is becoming more and more uh, prolific in society. Microsoft has a big stake in this artificial intelligence company, which is really, it looks like they're taking lead on the race towards making artificial intelligence uh, very popular and useful in everyday life. Not that I agree with everything, but with AI, but it's coming, so you might as well make some money off of it.
Well, Marcus, for those people who don't quite understand what AI is, can you kind of just take a couple minutes and go over that?
AI is it's like the movies, those futuristic movies where you can talk to a robot and the robot can respond to your questions, kind of like the Siri on the iPhone. You can uh, ask the robot or Alexa, that little speaker people have in their houses. You can talk to it. Hey, Alexa, what's the score of the basketball game? And it'll tell you. Or hey, uh, what what's the give me the top 5 books in 2000, top 5 selling books in 2022, and it'll tell you all the books, the authors. But now it's getting so more advanced to where you can ask this AI, write me a short story on vacationing in Hawaii. And this is so advanced now, it'll write you an original short story about a vacation, somebody's fictional vacation in Hawaii. It's getting that smart now. You can tell it to draw me a picture of palm trees and the beach, and it'll draw you an original piece of artwork of palm trees on the beach. I mean, it's getting more so advanced, and it's going to be a lot of money made with this artificial technology. And another way is they're putting the artificial intelligence in the cars. They'll eventually be driving cars. It'll be smart enough. Hey, drive me to work. And it'll already know where you work at. And I mean, it's kind of scary, but that's the direction we're going in. Whether I agree with it or not, money will be made. So why not allocate some of your resources so you can get in on this new tech technological advancements. I can bring up one chart of one of the AI stocks, symbol AI. It's all the rage this year. You can see they crashed for 2 years after the IPO, and now it's on an upward trajectory. I mean, you can look at this with anything tech. All the tech stocks, everything in the market is headed upwards on these charts. You look at Nike. Nike is headed upwards. All the big institutions, from what I can see, we're headed into a bull market, and all the big institutions are starting to allocate money back into growth stocks, big name blue chip stocks like Nike. I believe it's going to be a good first half of the year. Not investment advice. Long as we don't get into any nuclear wars with this World War III situation hanging over everyone's head, this should be a pretty good year. A lot of profits made with stocks in 2023. Now, one caveat: be careful. I know it's far away, but 2024 presidential election year, there's going to be a lot of drama, and historically, that's not a good year for stocks. I'm not saying it's going to crash, but be careful in 2024. But right now, 2023, with the Fed easing off interest rate hikes, everything is set up to be a good, profitable year, upwards, in my opinion.
What do you have as far as the stocks related to the microchips? Anything in or
Well, I can bring up those charts. This is a fund for all the microchip stocks called Soxel. That's definitely that fund is very hot right now. You can see this curve going up down here where the mouse clicker is. You can see up here how it bounced off 300s going upwards to new highs. Um, and some of the companies that are in there, a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard of Texas Instruments. You see Texas Instruments, TXN, they make computer chips, ready to explode higher. Another one, NVIDIA. They make microchips for AI, driverless cars, video game, microchips, high power. That one's exploding higher. And it's still the beginning stages because everyone's a little bit negative. There's still that recession thing in the air. I believe we were already in a recession all last year, and now we're coming out of it. But you don't want to wait too late to where it's obvious that the economy's doing good, maybe 6 months from now, because all these stocks will be too sky high. You know, you have NVIDIA, Texas Instruments, AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. They make chips for a lot of computers. You can see that one. It's curving up, going up to new highs. Sky's the limit for this is going to be a great year for computer chips. And it's also being subsidized. The thing I like about the computer chips is the government is subsidizing, investing a lot into these companies to build more plants and fabricate these chips over here in America. So it's not so dependent on the Chinese production. Because as of now, most of these chips were made in China, and that's a security issue. You don't want to just depend on one other country to make something as important as computer chips. Taiwan Semiconductor, you can see that one's curving upward. upwards. That's a big company. And it's just everything's up right now.
Well, they put one of those companies over here, one of their plants over here, right?
Yeah, they're working on that. I believe in Phoenix somewhere. They're working on building some Taiwan semiconductor plants over here because they're allies with the US. So they kind of want to have plants over here. And just in case, there's a rumor that it's not a rumor, but there's it's well known that China wants to take over Taiwan, possibly, and maybe a possible invasion. So that risk is in the air. So that's probably why they're going to start building some plants over here also.
Okay. And Intel is building a lot of new plants, at least a couple of new plants, I understand.
Yeah, they're all being subsidized to bring jobs home back here to America, made things in the US.
Yeah.
Um, After that pandemic, that showed our vulnerability of just having everything made in China, especially computer chips. Because without computer chips, society just can't function. You can't even build a car anymore
Well, you know, it's
without computer chips.
right. And, you know, it's amazing how you point that out, Mark, because in the 90s, when the government was, the Democrats at that was pushing it with the support of the Republicans as well, the NAFTA, North American Free Trade Act, where they sent all of these countries, I mean, they supported all these companies who wanted to relocate plants and do their productions in China and Mexico, and all of what happened that hit the American worker pretty hard back in those years, and right now we're still feeling the effect of that in our inner cities, you know. So it's good to see that they are beginning to try to bring back some of these companies. You know, that's one of the things that people don't realize. They say a lot of negative things about former President Trump, but he was trying to bring back a lot of these companies back to America. So it's good that the information you're giving us now and seeing that these things are coming to fruition again, you know?
Absolutely. Keep America first. These American companies want to continue to make profits. I mean, it would seem like it in the long run, it only makes sense to make the products that you're selling to Americans, to make them in America as much as possible so the Americans can have cash flow and stable careers to pay for the products.
Exactly.
You know?
You know, I mean, you look at the wages of the average American factory worker, it has gone down tremendously since the heydays of the 90s, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of auto jobs uh, have been moved to Mexico, Saltillo, Mexico. That's the new Detroit. That's the new real Motor City now. Is in Saltillo, Mexico, where they can pay the Mexican factory workers maybe uh, one quarter of what they pay the American factory worker. But also the robots, the artificial intelligence, that's replacing a lot of the factory workers also. That's another thing that's kind of unfortunate. They're predicting that all the truck drivers, all the semi trucks will eventually be driven by artificial intelligence, and there won't be a need for a lot of truck drivers 10, 15 years from now. I mean, that's inevitable, but And they say, well, where are all the people going to work? But you know what? That's always a big fear. Every time there's a big advancement in technology. But I'm a little optimistic because technology may eliminate certain jobs, but they also create different jobs. A whole nother industry can be created that we can't even imagine. It's like when before the automobile was invented, they just had the horse and buggy, right? I believe. And people wonder, well, when you get this new cars in every country, then the horse and buggy driver won't have a car, won't have a job anymore. Or the people that clean the horse excrement off the streets, they're gonna lose their job. Okay, but that was probably a good thing. Who really wants to clean horse excrement off the streets? And and that kind of job was replaced by maybe guys who learn auto mechanics. A whole new industry of auto mechanics arise, or bus drivers. Um, Now with the internet, you got people making money off social media. Whoever thought all these people could make money, become millionaires through social media or selling products on Amazon? So even though Amazon maybe has helped close a lot of shopping malls and a lot of cashiers may have lost their jobs at shopping malls, a lot of those cashiers went on to Amazon and and are making six-figure salaries selling products on Amazon. They actually, so new jobs get created. Now, a lot of custodians, maybe in the shopping malls, who were cleaning bathrooms in the shopping mall when the shopping mall closed, maybe now they're driving vans for Amazon, delivery vans, making their own schedule, making more money. So technology eliminates jobs, but it also usually creates better jobs that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's true because you go back and you look at the back during the industrial revolution when it came out with the when America you had most maybe 90%, 80 or something like that percent of a workforce back then were in America were working on farms. But with the advent of the various type of machinery, that eliminated a lot of jobs. So you fast forward to today, and that percentage of workers that's actually has gone down. The people that work on farms going somewhere like around 10%. So so
Exactly.
it's so it's definitely innovation creates eliminates jobs, but at the same time it creates jobs, just like you're saying. A lot of those people had to learn how to. A lot of people had to learn how to repair the machinery, the tractors and things like that. And the various other things that they use to farm with.
Absolutely. So I would just tell people, stay optimistic. Um, when this is the best time to make money, this is the best time to invest. Um, when when the market is down like this, off the all-time highs, that's when people get rich, when they invest during uncertainty. Even if you don't have a lot of money, $1 here, $50 there, $100 there, it adds up over time. I heard this lawyer talk about how he invested maybe $300 a month in Target. shopping plaza store, Target, and over 4 or 5 years, it turned into $40,000, and he's getting passive income from the dividends. So do your research. You really have no choice now. Just putting money, as we saw with the banking crisis, just putting money in the bank that doesn't pay interest. Uh, Inflation you're losing the money anyway by 5 to 10% a year just through inflation, devaluing it. So you have to learn how to make your money grow one way or another. And over the last 100 years, the stock market has been a good place to grow money. It's helped create uh, a lot of millionaires.
Right. And I tell you, there's some other investment things out here too. If you are interested and want to create some wealth and create some passive income, I tell you what. Why don't you just send me an email uh, and tell me how to get in touch with you. And I get back with you, and I can introduce you to programs that can get you on your way where you can start making passive income with as little as $500 to start with investing. Of course, I put in quite quite a lot more than that when I started with this particular company, but it's been doing quite well for me over the last year or so. So I tell you what, just send an email to me at the email address in the description, and I can introduce you to this program. And Marcus, that about wraps this segment up for us. But next week, our next show, you'll have some more good things to tell people that they can get involved in and get started on their investment road to wealth. And one of the things I'll tell you that one of the best books that I've read was Marcus. It's very so easy to read, and if you read it in a day, really. But you'll always want it to refer back to it. It gives you something a lot of people don't usually think of is what do you want to invest in. In this book, Marcus showed you. It's called The Secret to Prosperity by Marc Hill, and it's on Amazon. And Marcus, you also have several other websites and platforms that you also talk about your stocks, investments, and etc. Would you like to repeat those?
Um, you can go to Instagram, Mark Hill Wealth, and go to my Substack, and you can read some of my articles I write on creating financial freedom for yourself. markhill.substack.com. And there's a few others. We'll leave the link in the description.
Okay, with that, well, thanks again, Mark, for coming on and sharing this information. And I hope it's been helpful to the people out there. And people, don't forget to subscribe and share and like this video. We'd like to keep bringing this. If you like our content, subscribe to it, and we'll keep bringing it to you as. And we also like your comments in the comments section. And you got a question or anything that you want to ask us, then you can also put that in the comments section, and we'll definitely get back to you uh, uh, through a direct message or whatever means it takes. All right. Well, thanks again, and have a great upcoming week.